Before its launch last year, the James Webb Space Telescope was greatly anticipated, but now that it is operating, the JWST is posing a danger to completely upend astronomy with a single finding. The scientific community is in a frenzy as a result of the most recent JWST photos that disprove the Big Bang Theory. What photographs have been recently released by the James Webb Space Telescope? How do the pictures refute the Big Bang Theory? As we explore how the James Webb Space Telescope finally disproved the Big Bang idea, we invite you to join us. How much can a telescope cost? In this regard, the James Webb Space Telescope set a new record. In terms of work hours, the telescope consumed millions of hours over decades of development. No other telescope comes close to $10 billion in terms of cost. The jet was also an engineering nightmare because it had to be designed to fit inside the launch rocket. Because no rocket could hold it, the engineers had to design it to fold in multiple places. The large heat shield had to be unfolded as it traveled to its permanent location. And that wasn't even the most dangerous part of the telescope. The centerpiece, a reflecting mirror, had to be disassembled and folded in 18 pieces as well. Because of the number of things that could go wrong, the engineers and scientists who worked on it literally held their breath during the launch. The fact that the jet is literally beyond repair or maintenance added to the concerns. The telescope is 1 million miles away, making it impossible to send in a repair crew if something goes wrong. There's also no chance of refueling, so the mission ends when the fuel runs out in comparison to the potential benefits. The risks associated with the JWST, on the other hand, are more than worth it, as it promises to expand our understanding of the universe in ways that no other single scientific instrument has done since the telescope's inception. Scientists from all over the world have been waiting in line to study space with the powerful telescope. However, none of them were prepared for one of the telescope's first unpleasant surprises. The JWST has returned images proving the Big Bang did not occur after only a few weeks of operation. Because of the popularity of the hit show, The Big Bang Theory, the Big Bang has become the gospel of astronomy. The Big Bang Theory is widely used to examine the origin of the universe. The origins of the Big Bang Theory can be traced back to a priest-turned-astronomer named George Lemaitre. In 1927, he had this grandiose idea that the universe began as a single point a very long time ago. He claimed that the universe stretched and expanded to become as large as it is now in order to continue stretching. Years later, famous astronomer Edwin Hubble, whose space telescope was named after and built on Lemaitre's idea, discovered that the other galaxies were moving away from us, and that the galaxies furthest away were moving faster than the ones near us. The astronomer interpreted this to mean that the universe was still expanding, just as Lemaitre predicted. Basically, if things were moving apart, it meant that everything had been close together a long time ago. When the universe first began, it was just hot tiny particles mixed with light and energy, according to the Big Bang Theory. It cooled down as everything expanded and took up more space. The tiny particles then clustered together to form atoms. The atoms then coalesced over a long period of time. Atoms merged to form stars and galaxies that we see today. Those first stars generated larger atoms and groups of atoms, which resulted in the formation of more stars. Galaxies collided and merged in a chaotic cosmic display at the same time. As new stars formed and died, other objects such as asteroids, comets, planets, and black holes formed. All of this occurred over a period of 14 billion years. But what if the Big Bang didn't happen? With its most recent set of images, the journal makes no apologies. While the general public is captivated by the JWST's stunning images, scientists are struggling to explain how they contradict the theory of the Big Bang. The problem with the images is that they show many galaxies that are surprisingly smooth, small, and old. But why do smooth, small, and old galaxies contradict the Big Bang Theory? Let's start with the too small angle. A strange optical illusion must exist if the universe is expanding. The truth is that galaxies and other naturally occurring objects in space do not appear smaller and smaller with increasing distance. Actually, after a certain point, they should begin to appear larger and larger, and the reason for this is that their light is supposed to have left them when they were closer to us. This is in contrast to what we see in ordinary non-expanding space, where objects appear smaller in proportion to their distance. The scientists who study the JWST images can't hide the fact that they show smaller galaxies. Even galaxies with greater luminosity and mass than the Milky Way are seen to be 2 to 3 times smaller in these images than in similar Hubble Space Telescope images. The redshifts of the new galaxies are also 2 to 3 times greater. This is not how an expanding universe should behave. If the universe is not expanding and redshift is proportional to distance, the JWST shows that the galaxy it observes are the same size as the galaxy closest to us. The Big Bang, on the other hand, implies that these distant galaxies must be intrinsically extremely small in order to compensate for the hypothesized optical illusion. The GHZ-2 galaxy is much brighter than the Milky Way. Its calculated radius, however, is only 300 light-years, which is 150 times less than the radius of our Milky Way. Its surface brightness, or brightness per unit area, would be 600 times that of the nearest galaxy. If the galaxies we see today were to be replicated, its density would be tens of thousands of times greater. What about the smoothness of the galaxies? In order for the Big Bang to be true, tiny ultra-dense galaxies known as Mighty Mouse galaxies must exist. JWST has exacerbated the problem significantly. According to the theory, tiny galaxies grow into modern galaxies by colliding with each other, which leads to merging as they become more spread out. Consider a magical toy car that is centimeter long but weighs the same as an SUV, and imagine it growing into a real SUV by colliding with many other toy cars. Images from a jet become problematic for the Big Bang at this point. If the illustration appears incredible at first glance, you should expect to see some fender dents in the colliding cars. Big Bang proponents expected to see galaxies with scars or serious rough edges from the impact they survived or went through, but the JWST revealed overwhelmingly smooth disks and neat spiral forms, much to their surprise. There is no distinction between their appearance and that of modern galaxies. In other words, the data revealed that the images contained roughly 10 times the number of smooth spiral galaxies predicted by the theory. This calls into question the idea that galaxy mergers are common. The problem is that galaxies cannot grow that large without merging. This means that larger galaxies have always been massive rather than small. It also means that the expanding universe hypothesis predicted optical illusion does not exist, and no illusion means no expansion. This illusion is an unavoidable consequence of expansion. Let us now look at the two old aspects. This is similar to or the same as having too many. The JWST employs a variety of filters to capture images in the infrared region of the spectrum. Astronomers can now see the colors of distant galaxies. It is essentially what astronomers use to determine the age of stars in these galaxies. Young hot stars appear blue, while older cooler stars appear yellow or red. According to the Big Bang Theory, the most distant galaxies in JWST images appear 400 to 500 million years after the universe's birth. However, some of these galaxies have stellar populations that are over a billion years old. Because nothing could have existed before the Big Bang, these galaxies demonstrate that the Big Bang did not occur. Of course, a galaxy older than the Big Bang cannot exist. So, if the Big Bang Theory is correct, the JWST should see fewer and fewer galaxies as it looks back. It eventually stops seeing galaxies or enter the cosmos' dark ages. However, scientists are demonstrating that galaxies as massive as the Milky Way are common even hundreds of millions of years after the alleged Big Bang. The new JWST images, according to the scientists, show at least 100,000 times as many galaxies as theories predicted at redshifts greater than 10. And how could so many large galaxies have formed in such a short period of time? It's highly unlikely, which means there was no Big Bang. Let us pause here to consider what would happen if the scientific establishment admitted that the Big Bang Theory was flawed. There must then be a new way to explain the origins of the universe. Plasma filamentation, which has been around for about 5 decades, is one possible explanation. This process can be explained using physical processes found in laboratories. Plasma is an electrically conducting gas that makes up the majority of matter in space, including stars and space between stars. The Hubble redshift relation would still require the discovery of a new physical process to explain the loss of energy as light travels vast distances. Plasma filamentation is one of the critical processes in plasmas that scientists have identified and studied. This is the process by which electric currents and the magnetic fields they generate draw plasma into a lacy network of filaments visible at all scales throughout the universe. Plasma filamentation is a fundamental process that results in the formation of planets, stars, galaxies, and other structures. Plasma filamentation is also critical in an effort to create artificial fusion energy. The JWST is simply doing its job by introducing us to new ways of viewing the universe. Scientists are already wondering what would happen if the Big Bang never happened. Let us know what you think about the Big Bang theory's validity in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next video.